Colin Dixon with End Screen Noise, and I'm at IBC 2018 talking to Marty Roberts, who is CEO of Wicket Labs. Marty, tell us just a little bit about Wicket Labs.
Yeah, so Wicket Labs is building an audience insights platform. And what that does is kind of three things. The first thing is we aggregate data from all the different systems that our customers use. So these could be your marketing systems, your subscriber management systems, your app and site analytics. Pull that data together. We then harmonize that data so we can really track the consumer's journey all the way from the marketing system all the way through the operational systems and really understand who they are and how they're interacting with the service. And then based on that, we then present back a scorecard that tracks the business and that shows some actionable insights that they can make better decisions to grow their business, to retain their customers, to acquire new customers. We also apply machine learning to that data as well. And then the last thing we do is we provide that harmonized data back to our customers. So if they need to dig deep and answer a tougher question, they have the data set to go and do that.
So you are answering, I think, some key questions for customers right now, and it sounds like you're at a sweet spot because we seem to be at an inflection point. We seem to be facing a lot of maturity issues now. Most people have launched their service. Now they're trying to figure out how to manage it and to improve the performance, and particularly the revenue performance. There is so much data, but they're in so many different places. That's one of the first things that you do, right? You pull together all of that data from different places.
That's right.
So tell us about that.
So we have already existing 18 different integrations with various systems in the. So this would be marketing systems like a HubSpot, or pulling data directly from a Google or a Facebook. We integrate with the subscriber management systems or payment processors like a Recurly or a Kling or a Stripe. From the Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics, as well as all the different OVPs that are out there, like Kaltura and Brightcove and Comcast Technology Solutions. So we pull that data together and really go through that harmonization process so you can really understand. It's all about understanding that customer journey. How did they come in? How do they interact with your service? When did they leave and why did they leave the service?
Right. And you take that data and you create actionable information from that data. So talk about what I'm particularly impressed with what you're doing with customer lifetime value. So just talk a little bit about what you're doing there.
That's right. And so, audience lifetime value is a new metric that we think every media company needs to be tracking. Like if you run a subscription business, you naturally think about it. But we actually think there's applicability for advertising businesses as a whole as well. It's really understanding what do they come in, how much revenue do I generate per month for each one of those customers, and then how long do they stay with my service, that churn number. So it's basically average revenue divided by churn is how you get to a lifetime value. And it's a great unifier for all your actions that you take. Does it increase audience lifetime value? Everything we do to engage the user in the next show, the next series, etc., it really stretches out that retention in that subscription, obviously reducing your churn rate, which then increases lifetime value overall. And so we think it really kind of breaks down. It's an apples and apples comparison on what you're doing. Is my marketing campaigns generating a customer set with a great lifetime value?
That's one of the things I loved about what you showed me was that I can actually see the impact of a new interface or a new box set of content that comes. You can actually see the impact on CLV directly in the tool, which is great. There was one other thing that you're doing. It's not quite there yet, but it's coming, and that's Chi. Tell us about Chi.
Yeah, so our first machine learning application it's essentially a risk analysis on who's going to leave the service. But we turn that on its head. We call it the Customer Happiness Index. So how happy are each one of your audience members? And so what we can then do is, and it's pretty cool, we analyze all your data. We go back 1 year, sometimes 2 years into your data set, train the model on what are the patterns that would predict somebody who's going to stay with the service and that's happy, or somebody that's going to leave the service because they're unhappy. And we can then do all kinds of things with that data. On the at-risk customers, we can start to identify them. We actually we run a clustering algorithm. We bring them like users together. And so you find users, like we have one persona called binge and churn, because they're just cranking through one or two shows, and they're watching way too many videos per session. And and when you see somebody that falls into that behavior, then they would be at risk to leave your service. So you can then proactively go out. Now we get away from kind of a forensic scorecard that looks historically and gets into more of a predictive model going forward. Who's going to leave the service in the next 30 or 60 days? And so we can proactively reach out with a save action before they leave. So we're not... The other side of the coin, though, on that happiness index is, well, you can take that happiness index and that data and plug that right back into your marketing system and say, let's run a campaign on Facebook or on Google. Give me more users like my happiest customers, because let's go acquire more customers that look like our happiest customers. And for our customers that are doing those types of analysis, either on Qi or on their high lifetime value, they've had tremendous success with those marketing campaigns. So it's really fun to see the whole loop actually happen, where you get the data, you clean the data, you then translate that data into something that's actionable, and then you see the results of that action and how it's benefiting the business. There's too many, everybody's really jaded about these analytics systems because they just kind of stopped as like, hey, that's interesting, but what did I do with it? You have to close that loop.
Yeah. It's very exciting. It's a tool, I think, that a lot of online video services could do with right now. So this is really cool. I hope you'll come back and talk to us about when you actually release Qi formally to your audience and give us some feedback.
Love that.
Great. Thanks
Colin.
Marty. This has been Colin Dixon with End Screen Media.